Hello, good morning everyone. It's 10 a.m. in Poland and I think we may start our meeting today. Good morning, I would like to welcome everyone on the first webinar from InstalSystem 5 package. My name is Marcin Krzyżanowski and I will have a pleasure today to present you InstalSystem 5 package, our new product. As an introduction, a few words about me and my colleague. You can see us here. Yeah, that guy in the middle age with red face, it's me. And the guy below, the young, handsome man, is Rafał. I will lead that meeting today, and Rafał will assist you in the chat window. As you can see, I'm head of trainers in InstalSoft and also engineer in our products development team. And Rafał is also a trainer, quite a new one, but he's been training for the last few months and he's got quite big experience. So I hope that you can all hear me and you can all see my screen. In case of any problems with audio or video transmission, please check first what web browser you are using. The platform we use today is called Click Meeting, maintains to support all updated versions of popular web browsers like Edge, Internet Explorer, Chrome, and Firefox. But with previous webinars we had for the Polish designers, we met some problems with internet connection. So we recommend to use Firefox. But if you use any other and you don't find any problems, that's okay. The chat window you should see on the right side of your screen. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to ask. There is some button with question mark. Some questions will be answered directly in a private conversation in the private chat window. And some common questions will be marked by Rafał. And at the end of each part of today's meeting, there will be 4 parts. I will try to answer them. Okay, I think that we may start. I hope that all the attendees have already joined us. Today on this webinar, I would like to point out main conceptual assumptions which guided InstalSystem 5 creation and show you how they practically resulted in new modules and new functions in the program. In many points, I will refer also to previous generation, to version 4, which I hope many of you have known. Okay, so let's start with the first page. Basic goals and conceptual assumptions. The following basic goals were behind creation of InstalSystem 5 concept. Point number 1, or goal number 1, improvement of working ergonomics. So, how to make designing work easier, faster, and more comfortable. Aim number 2, new application areas for the software, so new modules, new types of installations. Point number 3, development of libraries of the program by new elements and new devices of the installation. Integration with BIM. Automation of design process, how to shorten or even eliminate most time-consuming stages of project implementation. And finally, better support of designers' work. The first point, improvement of working ergonomics, is the part 1 of today's meeting. Next 3 issues will be in part 2. Automation of design process, it's part 3. And finally, the shortest part, the last one, will be about support and about our help system and YouTube channel. Okay, so let's start. Part number 1, just a short forward to this point. At the stage of searching and finally making decision on a particular software, ergonomics of work with the program is usually unknown. And this aspect has a crucial impact on comfort and speed of your work. In version 5, there are many functions and tools that improve the speed and comfort of your work. Some of these tools are simple, others are more complex, but their common goal was to take the ergonomics to a higher level. And now I would like to show you and to tell you something about some of them. The first point, new customizable user interface. Okay, so let's take a look on the interface of the program. I will show you the first of projects I prepared for you for today's meeting. Well, in fact, it changed a lot comparing to version 4. And especially users who know version 4 may feel a little bit confused at the first sight. We've got many windows. There's a ribbon at the top. We may display the list of windows. As you can see, there are many different windows, the general data, 2 instances of 2D editor, 3D view, data table, project browser, search, heat and energy window, edit materials, diagnostics, results, printouts, and products. On a particular stage of project implementation, you need access only to some of these windows. To improve comfort and efficiency of your work, you can quickly change the configuration of windows visible on the screen. Now we can see some standard configuration. If you choose any other of them, you will see different configuration. Now we can see general data. Then we can switch to 2D editing. You will see a 2D view and also 3D view. Next, for example, results. The list of predefined configurations corresponds to subsequent stages of project implementation. You may use one of these configurations, but you may also create your own. And maybe let's change one of these configurations and save it. I will close data table. And I will move the 3D view to the right side of the screen. Like this. And now I will save it by clicking on this button. Name 2D and 3D view. And it's been saved here in the list of my compositions. Okay, so let's take a look now at the top of the screen. You can see the ribbon with many icons. When I switch from one edit scope to another one, the contents of the ribbon adapts to currently edited project scope. When we are on the underlay, you can import underlay. On the construction, you can create construction of the building, create the walls, insert doors, windows, and so on. On the convectional, you can see some elements to build the installation. Generally, there is no need to switch between many tabs and tabs of the main menu because the contents of the ribbon is automatically switched to the proper set of elements. Also, on the right mouse button, we've got some functions. And it's also worth to remember that you can change the configuration, the list of available functions on the right mouse button in the program settings. Okay, The next feature, all the windows are interactively linked. When you browse something, let's change the configuration. And when you click on some of the elements, with right mouse button, there will be a function find in active windows. It's very useful at the different stages of project implementation. When you analyze the diagnostic messages and you want to find the element in a 2D or 3D view. When you analyze also the results, or you want to just find element from 2D view on 3D view. That's all at the beginning about the interface. We'll use the program in the practice training a little bit later. So let's go to the next point. Integration of all modules in one application. And now I will use another example with flat stations. This one. And show you also short page. Sorry, not this one. This one. Okay. If you know version 4, you surely know that there we had different applications. Install heat and energy. It was for heat loss calculations. We had install term HCR for heating and cooling installations. We had install sun for tap water and sewage systems. And we had install mat for processing list of materials. In version 5, we've got just one big multi-modular application. So all the modules have been combined into one program. What are the benefits of that integration? Let's take a look once again on this example. First of all, you can make in one project all the installations without necessity of switching between different programs. It saves time on many stages of project implementation. For example, it eliminates double import of underlay, or double creation of building structure, or double preparation of printouts. Also, you can quite easy find the collisions between the installations, because you have full control on the model of the installation on 2D and 3D view. And also, because of the integration of all modules, we could introduce into the program flat stations. About flat stations, I will tell you more in the second part of today's meeting. Okay, so let's go to the next point. Three-D view for better control of building model and installation model. Once again, we are in the same project. Generally, in version 5, similarly to version 4, we create the installation on plan views. So we create an appropriate number of levels, and then we draw the installation. But additionally, we have 3D view, and it gives us a great tool for diagnosis and control of the model of the installation. With the use of available functions, you may flexibly control scope presented on 3D view. For example, we may hide some stories. Let's leave just one. We may also hide all walls. On the right mouse button, there is a function hide all walls in 3D view. Or we may hide just some walls, not all of them, just to look inside some room. And we can also precisely control the scope of presented installations. Let me display once again the whole building. And now when I switch to convectional, for example, you will see just the radiators, the flat stations, risers, so the heating installation. When I click to water supply system, you will see hot and cold water installation. I may also select by holding Control key and clicking with mouse on two scopes. I may display, like in this case, heating installation, hot and cold water installation at the same time. Okay, so it's the 3D view. Another point. Rearrangement and optimization of general data window. We may use the same project file, and let's open the general data. Okay. All the tabs have been rearranged and optimized. All the project and calculation options have been combined and grouped into these intuitive tabs. A list of visible tabs in the general data depends on the project scope. So depending what applications are switched on, we can see different contents of the tree in the general data. Maybe let's take a look on the thermal systems and ceiling systems, one of the examples. You can see that this tab have been divided into structural parameters and operating parameters. So if you change anything from this data part, you may expect that they will somehow affect the change of the construction of the ceiling system. If you change anything from operating parameters, you may expect change in the flows, in the pressure drop, so generally in the operating parameters. When we click to radiators, you will find their default radiator type, connection, fittings. So all the settings associated with the radiators were grouped on one tab. Another feature is the possibility to display in many places additional graphical and text information about the products. When you select the system or some element of the installation, you may take a look on it. If there is additional information available in the web, somewhere on the web page of the producer, you may also display that information. This is link to the website. And that pictures may be also displayed in the bill of materials. So when you print the bill of materials, it may include also the pictures and some additional text. Another useful improvement are the catalogs filters. Instead of one window, we have many different filters. And if you want to find some particular catalog, you may use one of these filters. Or you may use also the text field below by typing some letters. You may filter the list of presented databases. And we can also limit the list of presented databases only to producers databases or to neutral, and something what is dedicated to German and Austrian market to VDI databases. Let's take a look on one of the tabs. There are also very useful buttons like this one. You may find them in many places. And if you want to use some, like in this case, some thermostatic valve, but you forgot to import to the project proper database, you may click on this button. You will be switched to catalogs window. And when you choose the proper filter and load the proper catalog, then you may click on this back button and you will be again on the proper tab of general data. And here you can see also the catalogs of Danfoss valves with additional graphical information. And finally, when we set all these parameters, we may save them as a project template. By preparation of proper list of typical project templates with typical settings, for most frequently made projects, you will avoid necessity of making the same steps when working on next projects. If you open the new project now, you will find that new template in the list. Okay, next point. Easy and quick access to older versions of the program. In version 5, we have created new and sophisticated update system, which gives you access to the newest and older versions of the program. Let me use one of the projects. And when you click on it in the package manager and click edit, you will see some dialog window. In the first phase of opening the project file, program detects the version in which it was saved last time, and by choosing the latest, the newest version, or the older one, you have full control over the state of the application itself and the product databases that will be used in the project. In what situation it can be useful, I will show you one example. Let me choose one of the projects I prepared for you today. Not this one, sorry. I think this is that one. Very simple one radiator, one thermostatic valve. And just imagine that you did that project on one of the previous versions. You updated the program, you open it, and you want to calculate it. You click on the calculations button, and you get that message. Valve type not specified, valve type not in the catalog. I suppose that you could match that situation with version 4. It happens when the producer of particular valve or radiator of any other element of the installation changes the assortment, we change the database, and we delete the item from the catalog. With version 4, what we propose usually to replace the valve, in this case, with the new product. But it was not, in many cases, the right solution, because if the installation was running or if it was partly made, in some cases you couldn't replace the product. In version 5, we have completely resolved the problem, because if you open the project, let me display it once again. Saved on one of the previous versions. In this case, program detected that this project file has been saved in version 17.0. And I may choose open in the compatible version. So in this case, program would open the project file in version 17.0, or you may open it in the newest version. If you open it in the older version, you will be able to calculate the project with the old databases. So generally, this way we have eliminated the problem with lack of access to products that were withdrawn from libraries in result of changes in the producer's portfolio. Okay, so we are back to the presentation. Sorry. Okay. And this way we have ended part 1. I will check if there are any questions to this part. Okay, I see the message from Rafał that there were some questions, but not regarding this part. So just a short break for me to take a sip of tea. And we can directly go to the next part. New modules, new installations, and new elements. The first new module, Radiant Cooling Systems. Again, I will find the proper project. This one. Okay. Module for designing cooling systems was already available in version 4, but it was limited to convection systems. Version 5, as you can see on this project, has been extended by the possibility of designing radiant cooling systems located on floors, walls, or ceilings. In this particular project file, you can see the ceiling system with the pipes fastened. Maybe let's take a look here. By rails to the ceiling and covered with wet plaster. Manifolds are on the story above. The pipes go down to the story below, and they supply the ceiling systems. And depending on the chosen priority for the source, the installation may be sized to cover heating demand. We may also size the installation to cover heating demand, but also to calculate cooling efficiency, like in this variant. And the third scenario, the first variant, we may also size the installation to cover cooling demand. The results you may check in hints, for example. There are many information displayed in a hints. And there are also result tables dedicated for cooling systems. The whole group of tabs, results cooling, and for example, general results, where you can check the supply and return temperature, total output, and we can also browse detailed results for each circuit on the ceiling. This was the first new module. The next one are the wall and ceiling panels. And we will use another example. It's somewhere here. Okay. You can see some ceiling panels. These radiant systems are becoming more and more popular because of few reasons. First, they are quite easy to be assembled on the ceiling. They've got also lower thermal inertia compared to traditional wet surface systems, like the previous one. They are lighter, and also their prices are lower than a few years ago. These panels can be applied in both heating and cooling systems, and their output is calculated according to European standards. We may select one of the panels. You will see data in a data table. And as you can see here, there is delta T of this panel. Program optimizes the flow through each panel, or like in this case, through set of panels connected in series, in order to obtain required heating or cooling output. And similarly, the results you may browse in the hints or in the result tables. And I have also another example here of ceiling panels. Quite interesting one. This solution is more often practiced in the attics. As you can see, the panels are mounted on the slanted roof. So in case of adaptation of attics to residential purposes, you may also make that kind of installation. And if you take a look at the pipes, they can be also arranged at any angle, not only vertically or horizontally. Okay. Another element, new element of the installation, suspended steel radiators. So once again, another project. They are similar to panel systems, but they are dedicated, as you can see, for larger objects like halls, warehouses, gyms, ice rinks, and so on. Standardly applied in large objects, air heating systems with fan coils and air heaters are increasingly being replaced with this kind of water radiation systems. Well, generally, as you supposedly know, common advantage of radiation system is the possibility of lowering the internal temperature without losing comfort. It brings energy savings and lower cost of heating. These long rows of panels, in fact, they consist of some basic elements connected in series. And as you can see, they are connected to the distribution network, in this case in Tichelmann mode. So created automatically bill of materials include all basic panels of different lengths, fittings to connect them, but also all items required to hang the panels under the ceiling. So some hooks, some chains, screws, etc. Arrangement of these panels on the ceiling is facilitated by a new tool. This tool you will find here. It's called, I must switch to 2D view. It's called Zone of Ceiling Panels, but about this tool I will tell you more, and I will show you how it works in the third part of today's meeting. Okay, so another new module, flat stations. We're back in the program, and once again I will display that project file with the flat stations. I think it was that one. Yes. Sorry. Okay. And maybe let's display just the convectional systems. This is flat station here on the riser. Here, here, and here. Got many more. In technical literature, you may find different names for these devices. Flat stations or apartment stations or residential district heating stations. Generally, as you can see, they are used for individual domestic hot water preparation and to supply heat to the heating installations in the apartments. As I said before, thanks to the integration of all calculation modules, you can design in one project both heating installation and tap water installation supplied by flat station. Depending on modules available for your program and chosen scenario, the value of hot water outflow, this value, can be specified directly by typing the value, like in this case, or it can be also calculated by tap water module. So if in your configuration you will not find tap water module, so you will not find this checkbox, in this case you will be able to draw the flat stations, to draw heating installations, and this important data you will define manually just by typing that value. But if this module is available, you may choose other variant. You may draw tap water installation, connect it to flat stations, and by choosing that second option, this one, you will be able to calculate hot water outflow by standard applied in tap water system, and the program will take it account while sizing the primary network in the heating system. The calculations also include the aspect of non-simultaneous operation of flat stations in hot water heating mode. This aspect has crucial impact on sizing pipes, these riser pipes and pipes in the primary network, on the output of the heat source, and also on the buffer tank capacity. We can also use hints. They include many precious information about flat station, about the parameters in hot water preparation mode, in the heating mode. You will also find some information about some additional accessories in the flat station. And of course, you will find the flat stations and all the accessories in the list of materials. Okay. Another module, BIM, GBXML, and IFC Import prototype. I have another project, this one. GBXML and IFC are BIM open standards. InstalSystem 5 currently allows you to import building model from GBXML or IFC formats in scope of building elements like, let's click here, like walls, windows, doors, but also other building standard equipment, like you can see in this case, some furniture, table, toilet, wash basin, bath tube, also the kitchen cabinets. stairs. So also other elements that are maybe not so important when you design the installation, but in some cases their visibility can be useful. Like in this case, when we see the kitchen cabinets, we may properly design underfloor heating system. And that's what we did with this project. On model of this building, probably it was from GB XML file, we designed underfloor heating installation. And next, you may print 2D views and 3D views, or you may export it to PDF. But currently, you cannot export the model of the installation back to IFC file. And that's one of our main aims for this year, to implement export of the installation made in version 5 to IFC. Okay, and the last new module I would like to show you today is the dry system board arrangement. Another example, another project. This one. Dry systems for underfloor heating were already supported by the previous generation of InstalSystem package, but version 5 offers new module for manual arrangement of dry system boards. This is 2D view, and that's how it looks on 3D view. There is some extra edit scope for dry systems, and by picking from the icon dry system plate and choosing some type from the catalog, you may arrange by yourself the plates, the boards, one by one, by copying, changing the snap point with tab key. And so generally you can arrange the boards manually. They will be trimmed to the edge of the room. And when it's done, also manually you can lay the pipe into the grooves. So it's quite opposite approach to the designing process, because in a standard way we just indicate, like in this case, the floor. Program calculates required pipe spacing, and in this case we do it manually. We arrange the floor, program takes it as input data, and using this data calculates the flows. Okay, so yeah, there is one more module, the new one, tap water extensions, but I don't have any project to show you it, but I have a new page to explain what is it for. Tap water extension. This module provides additional advanced features, calculations of residential ring installations, and calculations of hot water flow inflow time to indicate the water outflow points. The criterions based on VDI and DIN standards, so on German standards, and this new module was dedicated to German and Austrian market, but you can also use them in other markets. Okay, so conclusion, what modules are available in InstalSystem 5? Let's take a look one by one. First, we've got base module, GBXML and IFC import, prototype, material list processing, heat loss calculations, heating systems, convective radiator sizing, cooling systems, radiant loop systems on floors, walls, and ceilings, dry system boards arrangement, radiant panel systems, hydraulic control loops. I didn't present it today, but it was also available in version 4. This is some advanced module for balancing cooling and heating systems, flat stations, and tap water systems. And the last one, tap water extensions. You can see some different colors on the screen. I grouped common modules in the black color. Heat loss calculations, it's just one single module. Next, we have in red color thermal modules, and in blue color sanitary modules. Some of these modules are also underlined. These are completely new modules in version 5. So you can see that something like 50% of all the modules are quite new in version 5. So when you now know and you see what modules are available, you probably wonder what will be next, what modules are under preparation. And here's the list of modules we are working on, and we want to release them in 2020. The first one, BIM interface. Like I mentioned, for that moment, you can only import the building in scope of some elements from IFC or GBXML. And with this module, you will be also able to export model of the installation made in InstalSystem 5 to IFC. Sewage systems, we are also working on it. And something dedicated for the Polish market, building energy certificates. These are main 3 projects we run for that moment, but we also make some smaller or bigger improvements of all the existing modules. Okay, so this is the end of part 2. Let me check once again if there are any questions. I don't see any message from Rafał, so I suppose that he probably answered on your questions directly in private windows. Once again, a sip of tea. And we go directly to the part 3 of today's meeting, automation of design process. The whole phase of creating the building structure has been optimized. Let's take a look once again on another project file. I think this is that one. The whole procedure of creating building structure elements which are required for heat loss calculations has been accelerated and simplified. The first important change, which you can see right now, is the separation of the building structure and thermal model of the building. There are 2 tabs at the bottom of the screen, construction and heat and energy. On this tab, we create the building structure using these elements. Now you can only find the rooms, but soon after calculations, you will find there also walls, floors, slabs, and so on. And this tab is now empty. It will be automatically filled with thermal partitions with defined heat transfer coefficients right after heat loss calculations. On this example, I would like to show you in a brief recommended method of creating building structure. Let's take a look on the plan view. We've got the basement. We've got the ground floor and the first floor. I have drawn the rooms before the meeting. You can see them. And I have left just one in the basement to show you how quickly you can draw in version 5 rectangular rooms. I click on the room icon and choose one of the corners, inside corners, click on it, and instead of clicking on all the corners, I use the opposite one, this one, click here, and with right mouse button I finish. So instead of 4 clicks, I may do just 2. There are all rooms on the drawing, but next I have to also draw the contour of the building. This is building contour. I will draw it using the external walls and the corners of the building, like this. And now it's done. If the building contour, like in this case, has the same shape, you may draw it once on one of the levels and extend it on many levels. When it's selected, we will display data table. And you can see that there is a position from story basement to story, and I will change it to ground floor. And it's been automatically extended to the next level. Let me hide it again. Okay, so we have rooms. We have also building contour. So in the next step, we can use this function. Generate walls and slabs from rooms and building contour. When I click on it, on 3D view, you will see the effects. We can see the walls. Similar function was also available in version 4, but in version 5, not only the walls are recognized, also slabs between stories and also floors. So there is no need to draw or to put the floors inside each room one by one, what we had to do with version 4, because slabs and floors are created automatically. Okay, to complete this building structure, we should introduce at least one door and one window. So let's do it right now. I will go to the ground floor and I will put external door. We may easily change the size. We may move it from the left to the right, but also it's right here. I may change, for example, percentage of opening. We may introduce 2 wings. So generally, we have a better control on the graphical presentation of doors. And similar with windows. Let me introduce one window right here. I will change also the size. And change the graphical presentation with 2 wings. But it could be also presented as a round or circle window. Or triangle. Okay. So we have one window, we have doors. So now we should create the roof. And with version 5, we've got much more new possibilities of shaping the roof. First, we need that part over the garage. The garage is on the ground floor. And I will draw the roof. like this. Also, just with 2 points, you can see it's flat. And now I will introduce the roof on the upper level. And similarly, I will use just 2 points. Now it's also flat. But to show you how you can change the configuration of the roof, I will also introduce some edges and we will make some slight modifications. Add roof edge. This is the first one. I will add another one like this. And I will change the corners of the roof by lowering them. Okay. Now it looks a little bit strange, but we may calculate this project in scope of computation of building structure. And it's been computed. You can see now the correct shape of the roof. We could also introduce into the roof some other elements like the roof window or a dormer, but we will skip it. In our help system articles, you will find many more variants of the roofs, and I will show you later how to use the help system articles. But let's assume that we have completed the building structure, and next we want to calculate heat losses. So we go to the next point, the whole phase of heat loss calculations. Okay, so when the building structure is complete, in the next step we should define thermal parameters of all building elements. I will change the configuration of the screen to heat and energy. And the definitions you can create similarly to version 4 from scratch by clicking on this button and adding and defining one by one all definitions. But you may also import ready definitions from other project file. That project file you can prepare earlier, or you may use some template with definitions. Let me find the proper file. It's right here. I've prepared some special project. It contains only definitions of thermal partitions. You can see the list of definitions, and now you will find them right here. Based on these definitions, program will automatically assign heat transfer coefficient to graphical elements of appropriate type and thickness. Let's take maybe this external wall. There's a checkbox default for this type of any thickness. So if program finds any external wall of any thickness, this definition with this heat transfer coefficient will be assigned. So let's try to calculate this project. Now I will switch also thermal calculations of the building. Click on this button. And heat losses have been already calculated. And let's analyze this project maybe I will use this composition. Let's take a look first on 3D view. There is construction, but now if we switch to heat and energy scope and display it, you will find all thermal partitions created automatically on the base on this construction. When I click here and click on some of the elements, for example wall, you will find its properties in the data table on the right side, also the U value. And if you take a look on this part, there is a wall, and it's been automatically divided into two thermal partitions because this room is partly under the ground. So also program automatically detects what part of the wall is under the ground and automatically divides it into separate partitions. And if you take a look now also on the floor, let's do it like this. Okay, now we can see the floor. On the construction tab, we can see one big slab covering entire story. On this tab, you will find many different partitions. So it means the program during calculations divided the whole slab into parts to properly calculate heat losses. And you can also check the result tables. Results for building, list of rooms, room parameters, and so on. So, summarizing that phase, I hope that you could find out how quickly you may design, calculate the heat losses, and create the building structure. We will go now to different module, radiant loop systems, and there are three new features. Automatic division of heating cooling zones into required number of circuits, automatic pipe fits drawings between manifold and heating cooling zones, and finally automatic pipe loops drawings. Another example, it's right here. As you can see, this is a bigger object, probably some store. In case of underfloor or wall or ceiling systems in larger objects, to obtain pressure loss and loop length at acceptable level, usually it is necessary to put several or sometimes even dozen separate circuits in the room. In version 4, usually after first calculations for some heating flows, we received error about exceeded pressure loss or exceeded maximum length of the pipe. And in this case, we usually had to manually divide the heating floors into parts. Once again, draw the pipe fits to connect it. So generally, it was time consuming. In version 5, heating floors have been replaced by element which is called heating cooling zone. This zone may be automatically divided into required number of circuits if either allowable pressure drop is exceeded. There you can see the data of this heating cooling zone, and there we can see the maximum pressure loss. So if this value will be exceeded, program will automatically divide it into more circuits. Or if the maximum pipe length is exceeded, also it will be divided. With this element, we may also control the direction of division lines. There are some scissors on the edge of the room. I may move it from the edge to another edge. And this way I will indicate if it is necessary to divide this heating cooling zone, what should be the direction of division lines. Another feature are the automatically generated pipe feeds between the manifold and all the heating floors. In version 5, there is no need to draw directly all the pipe feeds between the manifold and the heating floors. It will be done automatically after indicating the route between the manifold and zones. We've got new tool, it's called pipe feeds route. There you can see the first section of pipe feeds route. It connects manifold with the first zone. Then it goes to the right and connects second zone there. And then it goes down to the third zone. You can see some arrows here. They indicate on what side to this line will be drawn the pipe feeds between the manifold and the heating cooling zones. Okay, so I told you how it should work, but now let's take a look how it works. Let's calculate this project. And now you can see the effects. This one big zone has been divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circuits. This one into 2 circuits, and this one also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there you can see the pipe feeds generated from the pipe feeds route. They go to each heating floor with the appropriate spacing between them. That was really hard to obtain in version 4 because you didn't have any special tool for maintaining the same space between the pipes. Okay, but there is still something missing. We cannot see the pipe loops inside the floors, but we will see them soon. I will switch back to general data, and on the floor systems tab, there's a checkbox generate loops drawings. When I click here and calculate the project again, you will see the effect. Now we can see the pipe feeds, we can see the pipe loops in different colors. And if any corrections in the project resulting in a change of required number of circuits or the distance between the pipe feeds or different loops arrangement are introduced, they will be automatically applied in the project. Let's maybe make some slight modification. For this heating cooling zone, I will change the orientation of division line. It will be not vertical, I will do it like this. And now calculate it again. Okay. And now you can see the difference. So if you change anything in the project and you calculate it, you may expect some changes also on the drawing. Okay. So we go to another point, another module. And this is something what we've been working very hard for last couple of months, automatic creation of schematic views of the installation. Once again, we will use that project file with flat stations. It's here. And we've got here a 3D view. We've got 2D views. And now let's imagine that I would like to also present this installation on 3D view. How can you do it? You can do it just in a few clicks. I will generate schematic view of the whole installation. So I will find the heat source in the basement. And there in the ribbon, we've got schematic view. And there is a starting point. I will put it directly on the source and introduce some symbol. And after that, I may just click this button, Generate. It will take a few seconds. It's already done. And now if you display this window, you will see the building with the plan views, but also below there is a new position with the symbol I've just entered, 1. When I click on it, you will see the schematic view. Now it contains the whole installation directly from the source to all the risers and all the elements of the heating installation. But we may flexibly control what scope is generated and, for example, what labels are automatically added to the schematic view. We've got here flat stations, and usually when we provide schematic view for the flat stations, it doesn't present all the heating installation that is behind flat station. And I will show you how to change the configuration of the schematic view. I will click on the starting point, and in the data table there are some fields, and there is a field presented on schematic view, and I will uncheck that option, installation behind flat stations, and click once again generate. And now you will see the difference. We've got just the risers and the flat stations. We can also add labels for the pipes. We could also add here some balancing valves. So you cannot design directly the installation just on schematic views, but if it's generated from the 3D model, you can make some modifications. Okay, so we've got schematic views, and now they are available for the heating and cooling applications, but in coming update, you will also find schematic views for hot and cold water installations. The last point, radiant panel systems, automatic ceiling panels arrangement. Once again, I will choose that project file with the ceiling panels, this one. And now I will show you how you can quickly fill the space with the ceiling panels. On 2D editor, I will switch to the second level, and you can see that existing panels. And now I will add another rows of panels. First, I have to switch to radiant ceiling. And now there is an icon ceiling panel, and I will choose zone of ceiling panels manual. And I will draw it just to cover some space. like this. And now I should set some parameters for the ceiling panel zone. Let me choose some options. I would like to have similar effects, so I will change the settings here. Okay. Okay, and now if I click on this label with right mouse button, there is a function arrange the panels. When you click on it, after a few seconds you will see how the program fills the space of the zone with the panels. At any time you can change the configuration and arrange again set of panels. Let me introduce one of the changes and rearrange the panels. So if the effect doesn't meet your needs or requirements, you can change the parameters and arrange again layout of the panels on the ceiling. Okay, so it was the last point in this part, in this third part of today's meeting. Again, short break for me and for you too. I'm checking if I have a message from Rafał with questions. Okay, I have one question. Let me read it first from Fedor. When designing a system which will work in heating and cooling, which calculation is initial, heating or cooling? Can it be switched? In our practice, cooling is more demanding in terms of hydraulic calculations, so the calculation should start from cooling. Okay, so I will repeat it again because I think I have already told you about this aspect, but let me first find the proper project file. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was that one. Okay, so once again, if you want to design the installation with heating priority in general data or for the source in the project, you should choose this option, heating, or this one. In this case, program will size all the parameters on the heating demand, but you will be also able to check the cooling efficiency, the cooling output. If you would like to design the system to cover cooling demand like this, like in your question, you should choose the third variant here. In this case, program will determine the pipe spacing, the flows to cover cooling demand. Okay, but now I can see more questions. Probably it was in previous parts, but I didn't find it earlier. The first question from Garrett: when is the tap water designs available for version 5? Well, I think it's been released last year, so it's already available. Would be a chance to get today's recording training? Yes, we will. This meeting, this webinar is recorded, and we will put it on our YouTube channel, so you will find it. I will show you in the last part of today's meeting where is our YouTube channel and where you can find it. Another question from Garrett: will version 5 have access to all manufacturers' catalogs? Well, if you have a full version, InstalSoft version, you have access to all the producers that are available in our software. You cannot import your own databases. There's a little bit difference in scope of German market because there are quite popular VDI databases, and if you use German or Austrian version, you can import also databases prepared in VDI standard. Cooling panels. Sorry, let me read the question first. There is a question from Fanil, but frankly speaking, I don't understand it. Maybe let me read after the meeting, and I will answer to you directly in the email. Okay, so these are all the questions I found in the list. So we can go to the last part. This will be the shortest one. Better support of designers' work. New help system platform. So let me show you our help system platform. It's right here. It's available in a few languages, but the most complex is in Polish and English. In other languages, you may find only some of these articles translated. It's available on the website, but you can also open it from Package Manager. In the Package Manager, you have tab Help, and there is Help Online. Oops. So let's display it in a browser. There are different types of articles: product information, design applications, example projects, functions and tools, and also typical problems. When you start the work with the program, you should rather focus on these articles because these are kind of lessons, and you will find in them step-by-step procedure how to make particular type of the installation. For example, designing radiant heating floor and walls installation. On the right side, you will find contents, step by step, what you should do to design this type of the installation. In some points, you will find the screenshots. In other, you will find also some short tutorials from our YouTube channel. We update the contents of the help system continuously, so it's developed all the time. So first, when you want to learn the program, you should start with help system, but you may also use our YouTube channel. This is our channel. Now it's more focused on the Polish market, but you will also find more material translated into English. And this is a novelty released yesterday. For each publication, for each update, we will release some short video with information what is new, what key features have been released. It's with the lecture, so you may, let's maybe display it. You may find out very easily what's new available in the program. Okay. So, new help system platform, new YouTube channel. Error report that you send directly from the package manager contains more information that we may use for analysis of the problem. Let me show you. Oh, maybe it's been closed, so I will not show you where is the error report, but you will find it in the package manager. And also diagnostic messages of typical problems are linked with help system articles. I will use once again one of the projects, but this is the last project for today's meeting. I prepared it before the meeting, and this message you can see here, unbalanced circuit of terminal unit, is one of the most common messages you can see in our program in version 4 and in version 5. In this case, the reason is that there is no thermostatic valve on the pipe connected with the radiator, but there can be also other reasons of displaying the message, and we are not able to point out all the reasons in this short message. So for this kind of messages, on the right side in the last column you will find the button with question mark. If you click on it, program will automatically open the correct page of our help system article, where you will find more information, what could be the reason and how to solve that problem. So it's not available for all the messages, but for most common and or frequently appearing in the program. Okay, end of part 4, and we're closing to the end of the meeting. I will check once again the list of questions. No more questions. So we finally got to the end, and some old people remember what Bugs Bunny used to say at the end of the cartoon. That's all, folks. That's all for today. I would like to ask you to share your opinion about this form of meetings. After the meeting, you will receive the email, and there will be a link to the form, and you will be able to share your opinion about the form, about the content, about the quality. Please share your opinion with us, because we would like to know if it fits your expectations, or maybe instead of this kind of webinars, you rather expect some tutorials. We do it for you, and we would like to work out some best method of supporting you. I would like to thank you for joining this meeting. I would like to thank you for your attention and for your time. That's all for today. Maybe we will meet on other webinars. We'll see after your feedback. Thank you once again. Have a nice weekend, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.